important thing is really the how, the system. And that discussion, the early discussion about growth worrying, is really in that welcome stage. And we're calling the overall thing the perpetual engine. Because how do you get people in the door to start with, create a system that can start to build itself, community can build itself.
Scale, depending on, basically depending on how it evolves. Basically, this is going to be a very organic system.
Right.
So, touched in earlier in this example, we've given that proposition: come to us, join us, tell us your worry. We match people in worry groups, and we create new interest groups based on scale. And then we ask people to commit some data. That might be passive data. Please give us your phone records. Or it might be active data. We'd like you to sign up over the next month to agree to being a participant in a data capturing exercise. Give us some examples in a minute. So zooming out of this now, ignore the red for the moment. The red is going to be an example we're going to look at in a second. But we're seeing this around this Kindred Spirits community, which could be anything from the first 5 to 100 million people, depending on the interest and scale. We see this as just from a pure human journey, but we need to do this. Firstly, this recognition of how you enter. This is me, and this is my worry. I then need to go into a group where I make a human connection. And we said this is one of the principal USPs of this idea, is that people would feel like they were genuinely talking to other people. So we've got to think beyond it being an app. We've been thinking about meetup groups, using a very different language than is used on the internet. This is not quantified self. This is qualified self.
Like it.
Understanding, emotional. We've been thinking about ways of having greeters online. So I might actually meet in person a mentor who is going to really welcome me into this space. This could be via digital or even real places. So ignore that for the moment. Then we go into the idea of the birth of we. What does that mean? It means really profound connection groups are made. So we're connected around worry. We create forums for discussions, either online or in real places. Or maybe we even capture existing ones and invite them to join. We offer them the scale of our engine. And we get people to sign up to action groups. And signing up means, yes, yes, we've now identified that this is very important to me, and yes, I'm going to give you my data. And maybe, yes, I'm going to get others involved too. I might become more and more active. But this is the birth of we. So this is where we form our group power. What's exciting about that is finally we have something of value. We have 100 million people's signatures and datas and commitments, which means businesses, here we are. This is the flag to business. And this is where we end up in this exchange between business and these communities, this learning environment. If you come down to here, this is where effectively the data entrepreneur, the business side of this comes to this, where they both pitch to take that contract effectively in most commercial terms. That the requests are starting to refine. Thank you very much, community, for that offer for data, but we actually need more from you to make this work properly. So we can have an exchange here. This could be to the level of you've offered us all your location data, but we really need your DNA data to make any sense or purpose of this stuff. Then obviously they go away and process this within their role as the entrepreneur. And then this is passed back in, effectively you end up at the end of this stage with a publishing of results. This is what we found so far. It's a prototype. Nobody quite knew what would happen. And nobody knew if it was, how significant the study would be. So we call the fourth stage this kind of enlightenment and sharing, which is both the connection back to the society and the wider group, which could be more professional communities that we might ask to feedback on this. But it's also the sense that as a group we've learned from the exercise. So here we create forums for sharing this, which could again be real places, articles, online spaces. But we also come up with new benchmarks. Now this is a very abstract term at the moment, and there'll be an example in a second. But it says, we used to think that this was the issue. Now the issue is defined quite clearly as this. This gives us a chance to start thinking about whether we've got enough information. We might want to do it again and tidy it up, or whether we're ready to scale it. Whether we're ready to put an invitation out to the world and say, this study was really good for Amsterdam, or this was very good for the Think School. But actually, if we could do this at a global level, we really could solve a global issue. So effectively, you then come back to the beginning of the engine and you say, you know, we're nearly there to solve this problem. Why don't you come and join us and let's see if we can solve it for the world. Back to the welcome space, back to the proposition. Now it's one community talking to an individual, not an individual talking to a business.